I once wrote an article when I was still busy doing ancestral readings. I did an article, one on energy, explaining that ancestors come through as an energy. That is how they affect us. I used to call it the aura. I would say they reside in our aura, which is like all around us. That is where they are found. When they are negative, they are angry, they disrupt our lives. And when we cleanse them and turn them into positive energy, they become happy, and then we get the blessings that are due to us as a result of that. So we all grow in spirituality. We are not here to just remain in one position. We learn life lessons as we go along. Now I understand that that same aura is called a quantum field, because that is where the energy is. We call it ancestral energies because we are affected by ancestors, and there's a lot of reasons why. It has a lot to do with the methods that we're using. It has a lot to do with our background, our culture, where we come from, and a lot of things. Let's just leave it for another day. So, as spiritual beings, it's up to you to be in charge of your frequency levels. You need to always elevate yourself by learning new things. When we talk about vibrations, when we talk about the frequencies, we are actually talking about knowledge. When you know more, you vibrate higher. There's a saying that says, when you know more, you do better, something like that. Yes. So the more you acquire knowledge, you get elevated. Your consciousness, it gets elevated. And the more you are conscious is the more you are connected to the source. The more knowledge you know, there is a lot of things that we need to learn. We never stop learning until we die. As we learn, we acquire this knowledge, it elevates us, and the more you get elevated is the more you are in contact with the source, which means you are in a better position to manifest effectively, as opposed to vibrating low. Because when you are low, it means you are in a mode of ignorance. You don't know much. You think you know, but there is a lot. We never stop learning, like I said before. If you just open your heart to learning more, to learning more life lessons and more knowledge about a whole lot of things, especially when we talk about spirituality. There was a time, because I'm a medium, and for me, I didn't go for Indwaso to become a medium. I was just normal one day, and then the following day I started channeling, and that was it. And I am happy because my ancestors didn't allow for me to go and be initiated. In actual fact, I did go, but it was under false pretense, because the person who was trying to initiate me didn't tell me. It was like, they're trying to help me understand what was going on in my life. But after 3 days of being there, I realized that, okay, now this person is trying to initiate me. But things happened, and then I left on the 3rd day. So because I was not initiated, I got the message from my guides and from my intuitions as to how to deal with these things. When I started the blog, the information wasn't coming from a spiritual master. It was coming direct from my guides. That information I put on paper, and I opened the blog. And it took me from a place of knowing only about ancestors, and it opened a whole new world for me. It was then that I learned about the soul. I even read a book, The Seeds of the Soul by Gary Zukav. That book, it opened my eyes to say that we are not just dealing with the ancestors here. We are dealing with a whole lot of other energies energies that are universal, that are affecting each and every one of us here on earth. That is another way of, when you elevate yourself through learning, new doors open for you. For a longest time, I was dealing with doing ancestral readings. You know, when we find out what ancestors are in your life, what kind of problems are they causing for you, how can we cleanse them, how can we appease them? And the only way of appeasing them would be to cleanse you, and then you erect your altar where you appease your ancestors at home and ask them to be cleansed so that they can see the light. But as time went on, as time consciousness grew, it became clear to me that a lot of people are coming to me because they have problems. What they need is not only just to clear these ancestral energies and just erect that altar and that's it. It doesn't have to end there. We need also to find a key as to how do we then acquire the things that we need, because we all know that when ancestors come into your life, they take away a lot of things, and at that time you are vibrating very low. That is why you lose a lot of things. But once we cleanse the ancestors, things come back to normal. But it's never enough for us, because we are experiencing a lot of things and we still want to acquire more things. It was then that a door of manifestation was opened for me. I began to learn about manifestation. I learned about reiki. I learned about yoga. And then it became clear that in as much as you can do your ancestral rituals and stuff like that, but if you have not connected with God through manifestation, because manifestation is all about clearing your mind and connecting directly to the source. The source has everything for you. The source is the beginning, is the end. If you believe that you have that power inside of you, you need to elevate yourself in such a manner that you reach that level where you are able to connect direct to God or to the source or to the light. And then you can see that your problems will fall away. Which is why I encourage each and every one of us to really educate ourselves about these energies, about a whole lot of other things in the spiritual world, about reincarnation, because that is another thing that affects us, but we are not aware of it. It took me a long time to really grasp what reincarnation is and how it affects us, because when they say you are born into sin, it means you come here from another life already, and you are coming with negative energy from your past life. But you will not remember. You cannot remember it. But as you elevate yourself and you grow spiritually, a lot of things and a lot of downloads. Downloads are the information. It's the information that comes directly from the source to you. Like I said before, that my guides, now I understand that it was downloads. I would wake up at 3 a.m. and just write an article and publish it on my blog with no one telling me, but it was just coming straight from the source. There is even an article that I wrote one day which says, "For I am a soul. I am traveling in space and time. I am here to learn some life lessons and then move on." I understood it at the time, but now that I have grown spiritually, it makes a whole lot of sense to me now. So all I'm saying is educate yourself so that you can grow spiritually and your consciousness can be elevated. The more you are conscious of what is happening around you, the more you are conscious about spiritual world, is the more you are going to be powerful. The power is inside of you. No one else has the power. I think that's another reason why I don't like to take second readings. You come to me once and we find out what ancestors are in your life and are causing problems, and then we sort them out. Let us sort them out so that they can be released and leave you alone. That is the main aim. It is sad though, because sometimes you advise a person and you tell them, But because of our cultural beliefs, I can say, or because of the influence that we have from our environment, you find that a person will do everything correctly, but they will go back to do something that is going to reverse the whole thing. Here I'm talking about the things that I don't do. I don't need to slaughter, to spill blood, in order to connect with the ancestors and cleanse them and set them free. But if you are going to go home and go back to things like that, I don't have a problem when you slaughter because you are hungry. But when you're going to slaughter in your altar and say, I am doing this to cleanse my ancestors, spilling blood will create some entities that you may not be able to control. If it works for you, it's fine, it's okay, you can do it. Because like I said, we are also different. And we have different karmic energies that we are navigating. But all I'm saying is there are those people who do not need to spill blood, who do not need to use muti. Those kind of people who need to set their spirits free and set their ancestors free and send them back to the source, and then continue to live their normal lives and do the things they want to do, so that they can also practice godly living, so that when they die, they don't come back. They don't come back and worry their kids. That is what we call breaking a generational curse. Because you cannot break a curse and come back and do it again. At some point, we're going to need to learn how to live our lives in a manner that when we die, we do not come back. When we die, we go straight to the source, we go straight to the light. Because when we die, there's a whole lot of things that are happening on the other side too. When you go there, you need to learn those things. You need to learn how the energies work that side. You need to learn whether there is a gravity or there is no gravity. There is a whole lot of things, how you communicate. So when you die, you need to be busy trying to learn those things instead of coming back here and trying to find a body that you are going to use in order to satisfy whatever that you didn't see through whilst you were still living. But anyway, all I'm trying to put across is that we need to learn and elevate ourselves so that our conscious than yesterday. When we learn new things, we find new ways of doing things. We find new ways of improving our lives. Spirituality is for everyone.